Hi, welcome to episode 6 of Life and Steph. Like I said in the last episode, we're further into our arc of ooey gooey, touchy-feely, feelings, likey stuff. I'm a child, is what I just realized from that sentence. This particular episode is about what you do when you are trying to talk to someone who is just stupid good looking, just offensively handsome / beautiful. In these scenarios, my brain often just makes this noise endlessly on a loop. So it's kind of like I lose all ability to function. I can't move like a human. I can't think like a human. I certainly can't talk or flirt or be adorable because I'm really using all my brain power to stop from drooling. It's just like totally impossible. They're so attractive, such Abraham Lincolns, that you want to die. Maybe that doesn't happen to you. It doesn't happen to me either. Just kidding, here's the story about it. When I was a freshman in college, I didn't know a lot of people, so I would go to the cafeteria alone a lot for different meals, or just like between classes, and it wasn't a good time to meet with my roommate, and I would people watch just to keep my mind off of how lonely I was. One day, a super good looking guy walked by, caught my attention a little bit, like movie star handsome. He looked like Robert Downey Jr. who had done no drugs, which is the best kind of Robert Downey Jr. in my opinion. He was tall too. I think Robert Downey Jr. is probably like my height, which is fine, cool. Robert Downey Jr. I'm not throwing you any shade. If you want to call me, that's fine. But this guy was like tall and young and super handsome and clearly very popular, had perfect teeth. I looked at his teeth a lot. He ate sandwiches in a way that I'd never seen anyone eat sandwiches before. So I didn't know his name. One time I heard somebody call him Adam from across the room, so I knew his first name was Adam, but I pretty much just called him Adam McHandsome Pants because I like to give everyone a first and last name. It's important to note that the only thing that I knew about this man is that he was very good looking. I liked the way that his face was arranged on his head. I liked the distance between his eyes and his nose to his mouth ratio. Good stuff. He had super good facial hair, which is an accomplishment because if it's not perfect, it's mostly just a growth. The problem with facial hair is that when it first grows in, it is so gross. It's not good until it's like a full-on beard. So everywhere between, you should probably just call it a growth because it's not good yet. So I would like to live in a world where we could all have facial hair, but it wouldn't have a growing process at all. It'd just be like mustache. That'd be fun. So I spent a lot of time watching him, just sort of casual stalking. Nothing creepy, just like I like looking at him the way some people like looking at nice artwork. He was a human. I'm not trying to objectify him. He was a man with a lot of opinions and feelings, and he counts. But I liked his face. I didn't know anything else about him. I didn't know if he was like charming or witty or funny. I didn't know if he was attractive. See the difference? I knew he was good looking, but I didn't know if he was attractive. And I was looking for opportunities to find out, but not really looking because like, how could someone with a face that perfect ever speak to me? Later, when I got friends, he got a job working in a restaurant that we went to a lot, so he was our waiter a lot, and I would be like, our waiter is the most handsome man in the world, and then I would like just not speak to him except to be like, I would like pizza. I loved him, but he didn't know it, and he could never know it, and that's okay. I was fine with that. A few years later, I started working for the school newspaper, and I got assigned feature stories a lot because if you give me hard news, I'm gonna try to write a joke in there. People didn't like it. But if you give me a feature and I write a joke, people think it's great. I was also the stunt reporter, so I got put on a lot of assignments that people didn't want to go on. For example, sitting in the bod pod wearing a swimsuit so people could measure my body fat. This was not one of those assignments, though. This one was actually just a feature story about the drama club who was putting on a haunted house. And my editor, Greg, gave me the number for the president of the drama club. I was a little bit nervous. I've spent a big chunk of my life avoiding drama kids because I hate drama. I was not really looking forward to making the phone call, but my editor gave me the number. He was like, here's this guy's number. His name is Adam. And you might see where this is going, but I was like, okay, Adam, the drama guy, I will call you. Ooh, I hope you're not super enthusiastic on the phone in a way that I cannot identify with. So I was like bracing myself on the phone for like, I don't know, show tunes or something. I didn't know how he was gonna answer the phone. And as the phone was ringing, I was like, Adam, that's very familiar. And then the handsomest voice in the world answers the phone, and he's like, hello? And I was like, hi. Hi, I'd like to set up a time to interview you. Because I had just realized that Adam McHandsomePants was the same person as Adam McInterview subject. So somehow I got through that conversation, which is crazy because I'm not good on the phone, and I'm not good at talking to handsome dudes, and I'm not good at talking to drama kids. So that was like the trifecta. I have no idea how I got through this phone call because this is just a blur in my head, but we set up an interview, and it was like half an hour from then. So I needed to be ready then. I was just gonna wear like sweatpants and no makeup, and I hadn't done my hair or anything because like, who cares? I'm not gonna go to their haunted house. I'm scared of stuff. But now that I knew that it was Adam McHandsomePants, I had to put on pants of my own, nice pants, and better clothing and makeup and, you know, do my hair. And I sat down and I like really tried. I wrote some like super thoughtful questions. I was like, oh, he's gonna love these. And if he loves these, he's gonna love me. You know, there were like so many things that I had to do to get ready to meet the handsomest man in the world and talk to him one-on-one, my face to his face. And then maybe he would want to put his face on my face. Maybe, I don't know. And I was like, ah! And I ran out of my dorm room because I was running late at this point. Like I'd spent so much time putting effort into my appearance and what I was gonna do. I ran to where we were supposed to meet in the theater building, and obviously my brain had already turned off because the first person that I walked up to and was like, Adam, was an old woman. So that was wrong, but I apologized. That was kind of a weird situation to get out of. And then I went and sat in a corner and waited for him to show up. And while I was sitting there, I was like, okay, I got my nice pants on, I got a good shirt on, this is working pretty well, as well as it's gonna get. And I got my question, I forgot my questions. So I quickly wrote down like, who are you seeing, if anyone? What might they be like? What would you be looking for in a lady friend? You know, just the usual journalism questions. Who, what, when, where, why? How can I see you again? He finally shows up. I'm looking down at my notepad, like just sort of scribbling, writing like, Mrs. Adam McHandsomePants on there. And he walks up and he's like, are you Stephanie? It's Adam, the handsomest man in the world, looking at me. And I was like, are you Adam? Like I hadn't been watching him eat for years. I know who he was. I forgot every single question, even the ones that I had just quickly written down. He would talk and I would just go staring at his mouth while he was talking, like, how's your beard like that? And then he would be done, he would wait for a second, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta take the notes. I'm doing that now. And then my questions would be, he made a joke about like his height, and I was like, no, you're really tall. You're so tall and young looking, 22-ish maybe. How old are you? The thing is that I always record my interviews as a reporter because I can't write fast enough. Sometimes I can't write at all. Sometimes I just write a line and pretend like, oh, uh-huh. And I was listening to this later, and what I discovered is that it did not go the way I thought it went at all. It went real bad. I had to relive all of this as it happened. So in the audio, you can hear me go, question. I had a really good one. What was it? Question. Oh, what's your last name? That's not a good question. Probably something I should have figured out at the beginning of the interview, because I was just gonna quote him as Adam McHandsomePants. So dodge that bullet. I can, on the tape, I guess it's not a tape, it was on my phone. I'm not an 80s reporter. He says whatever he says and I go, ah. This doesn't happen just once. No, 1 stupid laugh, 2 stupid laughs, 3 stupid laughs, ah. That was a count joke. That one was for you, Adam, hope you're laughing. And I know while I'm laughing like this, I'm like, stop, close your mouth, make it smaller. Stop that noise from coming out of your head. But I can't, it's too late. Oh, I'm like filibustering it at this point because I just want to keep talking to him. I'm totally out of questions about the haunted house that they're putting on. I know what what it's for, I know what they're trying to buy with the proceeds, I know who's dressing as what, and what room holds what, and where they're getting all their supplies. There are no more questions to ask, but I'm still trying. But finally it wraps up. I'm like, hey, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for your time today. And he's like totally gracious about it, even though like now that I'm hearing it, how did he keep a straight face? That's probably why he's the acting club president. And I say, so thanks for your time. This is really good. I'm just gonna write it up later today. Just go back and do some writing. Right now, just write it, and then that should be in the paper. Duh! But I didn't know like when it was gonna be in the paper. I didn't know anything. I just couldn't function. He was super polite about the whole thing because he's perfect. And he got up and he walked away, and I was like, there goes my chance to impress the most handsome man in the world. And he's heading out the building. I get up and I go another way, just like wanting to die a little bit, but I'm still in this crazy brain mode. So I forgot to turn off the recorder. And I was walking out of the building, the opposite direction that he was going, and you can hear the door open and shut behind me. And then I go, oh my God, so handsome. This is a real interaction I had with somebody that I'd had a crush on for years from afar. So I don't know, I will never know if he had reached the attractive point. I know he was super hot. I was so focused on him hopefully just like understanding that I was attractive and hot that I know nothing about him. I learned nothing from that interaction. Later I went back to that restaurant, wrote my name and number on the receipt, kind of gave it to him, I would like to say in a bold way, but I sort of just left it and ran, and he never called. That's okay, I've moved on. I think this happens to a bunch of us. I think when you are confronted with somebody who is just like such a babe, or so you have such a huge crush on them, it can be really hard to speak even. It can be hard to form a coherent thought because the only thing that's going in your brain is like, whoa, how is your face like that? Can I put my mouth on your mouth? Not in a resuscitation way. It's not good. Don't say that to people. So over the years, hopefully I've gotten a little bit smoother when it comes to talking to people who I just think are stupid beautiful. For the most part, I try to avoid them because what am I supposed to do? But I do have a couple tricks. What are they? I'm glad you asked. The first one is just to remember to breathe, because it would be so embarrassing if in the middle of that conversation you pass out or you turn different colors. People are gonna ask some questions. So now, right now, I'm assuming that you are not being confronted by someone who's just so stupid good looking that you can't function. So you should pay attention to how you're breathing right now. Are you going like this? You should probably try to fix that. It sounds like there's something wrong with you and I think you need to see a doctor. But if you're just breathing super normally, remember how this feels. Think about that, because later in a stressful situation, confronted with someone's stupid handsome face, this would be a good opportunity to bring back the normal breathing. Because the thing is, like, if you're hyperventilating, they're gonna notice and they're gonna think you're a weirdo. And if you're not breathing enough, you're gonna turn colors or faint and they're gonna think you're a weirdo. So I'm really just doing you a favor here. The other thing that I think is really important just in any interaction is to focus on what people are actually saying to you. It helps you remain present in the conversation, which I think is really important. And if you're focusing on the words coming out of their face, your brain calms down a little bit on their face itself. That's probably good and respectful, and they might actually feel like you care about them as humans and not just beautiful art. And you might find out that actually they're just really good looking and they're dumb as a stump. So they're literally stupid handsome. My favorite technique of all time, whenever I'm nervous, whenever I'm in a stressful situation, is something that my friend Geraldine taught me in high school right before a stressful history presentation. She said, okay, I play this game called Guess Who's Holding in a Fart. It is such a fun game. You play it when you're bored, you play it when you're stressed out, you do it all the time. It's great. So if I was in this situation again, I would look at Adam McHandsomePants' handsome face, and I would go, you are so, so beautiful. You are so perfect. In my head, I would not be saying this out loud. And then I'd go, but I know you're holding in a fart. And that would make me feel better. If you want to see more instances of times that I play Who's Holding in a Fart, you can subscribe to Life and Steph. I'll teach you about another really fun game called What Would They Look Like as the Muppet? Oh, I just taught it to you. Now you know it. Okay, well, subscribe below anyway, or visit me at listfulthinking.org, my blog.